Hey everyone, Shauna here again to work a little bit on the cover for the last project that we worked on. So while I was away or you were away, I did cut out some little circles and put them in here to do faux brads, and I added on some of these some vintage looking tape. Gosh, I just realized how much glue and yuck I have on my hands. Oh well. So we're going to make a cover for this. I don't know if I'll get through it in one video, but we'll see how far we get. I've pulled some things together that we may or may not use. So I've got some fabric here that I'm thinking about for the inside. And there's also this choice, which I really like. And there's some of this, which honestly, I don't know how to use it. I've pulled it out several times and put it back. So this may be the time, I don't know. I'm definitely going to decoupage napkins on the cover. So this is the napkin I'm going to use. I got it at Tuesday morning on clearance. I can't remember how much the purple is, but there you go. So this, I got several when I went on that trip, and this has been my favorite by far. I use this over and over and over and over and over again. So gotta go get more. And then I pulled some scrap leather that I have that I may put on the binding on the outside. Haven't made my mind up yet. So what I've done so far is I have cut these pieces so that I have a spine and a cover, and we're going to start working with those and get them put together. I'm going to put this to the side, the spine part, and work on this first. So I don't want, this is a piece of that napkin that's been, the layers have been removed. So there's 3 layers to this napkin. Sometimes there's only 2, and you peel them off and the layer looks something like this. And this peels off and you're left with just the decorative layer. So if I put this directly on here, this brown color, the craft color, is going to show through very strongly, and I really don't want that as my base. So I'm going to put copy paper over this. You could paint it, but I think I'm going to just put paper because I want to have minimal warping. And this it's a heavy duty cardstock. I can't remember. I think it's a medium weight, and it will warp if I get it too wet. So I'm going to glue stick it. We'll see. So I have some paper. This is just copy paper, and it's enough to kind of take away all that craft paper feel. So just going to glue this on as quickly as I can, because one thing I've noticed is, you know, while it's necessary to use glue in these tutorials to show people how you do things, it's not one of the most entertaining parts of videos is to watch people glue stuff. So I'm going to try to get through this as quick as I can. I'm going to kind of wrap this like a present to try to keep it neat. And just going to lay that over the top. Actually, I'm going to go opposite so I can see what I'm doing here. I'll lay this way, and I'm going to eyeball it here. And take my bone folder and really kind of get that in there, because the glue stick, it's going to hold it, but it's going to take a little bit of persuasion. And I'm going to turn that over and do that some more, and the purple will disappear. It dries clear. So for this journal, I've just been using what I have, scrap paper that I have from pads that I haven't used, cardstock, and just plain papers. I haven't bought anything special for this, although if you were starting from scratch, you would have to buy some kind of decorative paper. But I'm not going to use any digital kits in this. So this is Tim Holtz fabric. I got it at Joann's. I'm sure on sale in a roll. I think this is meant for quilting. I'm not a great sewer, so, you know, I just liked it. And I think somebody gave me this with a bunch of other stuff. So let's do the rest of this here. I'm going to clip the edges just so that it's not, and I'm not worried about making this perfect because this side is going to be covered as well. And I'm just gonna get this. Actually, I need a little bit more in the seal here. Let's do that. And put that down. And you might hear my children and husband coming in and out of the door. They're outside playing. It's a noisy house. No avoiding it. Somebody may even come in here and start talking to me. So it just is what it is. If I waited for them to leave or quiet time, it would never happen, which is kind of why I didn't start on these videos to begin with, other than the fact that I was terrified to do it. But yeah, I tend to not want to share some of my family private life, and I just decided to just get over it. I've asked so many people, so many people have asked me to do tutorials, so I decided I should share what I know and get over myself on the whole embarrassment part and privacy part, because I mean, it's not like I'm sitting here with my pajamas on. Well, I could be, you wouldn't know. So there's one, and like I said, I'm not concerned about this being uneven. Normally it would be neater than this, but I'm kind of rushing through it. So let's do the next one. And say hello to my oldest son, Gabriel, who just walked in.
Say hello to my oldest son, Gabriel.
He's gonna be the next YouTube star on my channel. And let's get this down. And like I said, I'm just gonna eyeball this. I'm not gonna try to make it perfect because it's not gonna show. Finish it down. You need something, bud? No, you just want to watch?
Your skills.
Watching my mad video skills that don't exist. Ooh, I forgot to clip the corners. Okay. And like I said, this doesn't have to be perfect because it's not going to show. So we're just using this as a base layer so that the napkin doesn't show through the fabric, because that we are going to get this wet, and the napkin, the white portions of the napkin are going to become translucent. Although, I guess if you didn't want that, I'm going to trim a little bit of this, you could not peel the layers of the napkin, but I've never tried that, so that's something to think about. I'm going to try that. And let's see. Oh, I didn't quite get that like I wanted it. Slow down a little bit here. Burnish these down. Get rid of my trash here. Okay, so another technique that I have used in the past is to Mod Podge the napkins. I've seen where folks have used irons and saran wrap. I did try that. For me, it was a complete and total disaster. So I won't be doing that again. But Mod Podge works. If I get this too wet, it will curl. So I've done glue stick on these a couple of times. It will be sealed, so it shouldn't make a difference if I don't use it on the bottom layer. So, ooh, gosh. So I've got this piece of napkin, and it's large enough for both pieces. But as you can see, part of this is upside down. So what I'm going to try to do is cut enough for both sides. From one side, I am going to end up having some things upside down, like this part will be upside down. It can't be helped, because what I don't want to do is cut this and then try to line it up, because the nature of the pattern, it's going to be difficult to do that. So I'm going to leave as little space as I can on the sides here and trim it. So I think because I have, let me line this up here on my table a little bit anyway, because you know I wing things and I don't measure a lot, but I don't want to peel another one of these napkins, and I've been there, done that a lot. So I think I'm just gonna cut up the center and wing it and hope for the best. And just try to stay straight so I'm not cutting jagged edges here. Again, I feel like, you know, this has got to be horrible because kind of like watching paint dry, but you guys asked, so here I am. Okay, so for the top, I'm going to set this to the side. For the top, I don't need a whole lot of space, but I want to try to have the least amount of upside down writing here. Let's make this straight. Okay. So I'm just going to wing it here. Extra for another project, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this one too. Thanks. So like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I try to be neat, and I got too much glue on my hands. I should probably go wash my hands. So we're going to glue stick this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on this and lay it down on that. So try to minimize room for error there, because I don't know how many times I've laid that down the other direction and I didn't even have room to fold it up on one end, and there's really no way to recover from that. And I ended up trying to splice things together, and it was a pain. It ends up taking a lot more time than you need it to be. And when you make these to sell them, while you want to do a good job and you want to put forth your best effort, you also want to work smart so that you don't end up putting so much time into a journal that you don't make any kind of profit. So I'm not going to expect this to be perfect. It's going to wrinkle. It's just the nature of the beast with napkins. So it's going to wrinkle. You just want to make sure that all the air bubbles are pressed out. And as this dries, the purple will go away. So no worries on that. And okay, turn this over and do it much like I did the other one, except for I'm going to trim this up a little bit. It is a little excessive. And I think that's good. And the napkin tends to break down a little bit more, so if you don't have it, I mean, you don't have to cut it all the way to the corner there, because it's going to compensate for you. So the only thing that I would say to be careful about is make sure you get this edge here, because you don't want a poof of napkin sticking up, and then you won't be able to get it to stay. And let's see. I'm going to trim this down a little bit more, right like that. Run it on the edge there. Sometimes it's easier if you kind of coax it on the end there before you flip it over. Sometimes you get a neater edge. And this here. A little bit more. Normally, most of the glue sticks I have used have been from Staples, and I was really pleased with their performance. And then I saw where a lot of you are using Yoo-Hoo, so I am super excited to use all of this up so that I can buy some Yoo-Hoo and try it and see the difference. Let's see. Especially since you can get a pack of those pretty reasonably online. And I have to admit, I am definitely an online shopper. Alright, so there's one, and this needs to dry here. You can see a little bit of the wrinkling. And then we'll start work on the next one. So same process. I'm going to lay that like that and coat this really well. Because while I don't care about air bubbles, I do want all of it to adhere. And like I said, it's going to be sealed, which is, you can use Mod Podge. That's what it's made for. I live in the South, and it's super hot and humid here, so I have trouble with Mod Podge staying sticky, which you can combat that with baby powder or cornstarch. But, my other method, I end up using some kind of drying agent. However, everything's gonna get sticky at my house, everything. So, but I tend to prefer using a combination of glue and water, and I just water it down to the consistency that I like, that makes it easy to paint on without leaving humongous white streaks. But thick enough to still act as a sealer, and you're not just getting everything wet. So, and I use this PVA glue. I tend to only use it for covers. I don't use it when I'm making a book. I like tacky glue better for that. Hey, Gabriel. What's up? Nothing?
You like my Karate Kid look?
Yeah, I do like your Karate Kid look. So, same process here. I'm just gonna glue this down. Wax on, wax off. He's such a goof. Let me glue this down, and I'm gonna coax this side. Get a little bit more glue here. And coax this down because I got some wrinkles here, and I just want to make sure that, I don't care about the wrinkles, I just want to make sure I don't have any air bubbles. I think I need a little bit more glue here. And sometimes when you have the overlap here, you can just kind of press that in there, and when I seal this, I can definitely flatten that out better. So, but I'm going to go ahead and cut this at an angle a little bit more. Oops, that did not cut well at all. And same thing. A little on the edge there to kind of coax it down. And last edge. I'm gonna do the same thing here. I think that's good. And just press that down. Kind of play with this corner a little bit. And let those dry. So I haven't made up my mind if I think I am going to do this to the spine as well, this piece. So I will need to cut some paper for that and follow the same method, just in case I decide not to cover it. I may cover it with lace also, in which case I would want this to match somewhat. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I do want it to match. So I'm going to go do that same process on this, and I will come back for next steps. And I will see you the next time. So until then, bye guys.